Hi there and welcome back to the 10-minute Pilates in the mornings. Hope you had a nice half term. Today we're going to do the meditation Monday and we're going to look at breathing. So I'm going to take two chunky cushions just to put under my knees, so into a nice relaxation posture, and then just maybe a little towel or cushion for your head. But before we go down onto the mat lying on our backs, I want you just to become aware of some of your breathing anatomy, and so when I cue some of that lying down, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so air comes in either through our nose, mouth, or both, and your sinuses here run across the cheekbones and out to the side, just into those eye sockets and out wide. So I want you just to be aware of where your sinuses are, and that you're then breathing down into the back of the throat, down into your trachea. And your trachea sits behind, sits in front of your swallowing tube, and then from here you have the bronchioles that then split out into your lungs. And here are your collarbones, and some people aren't aware that actually your top rib sits. So if you come into above the collarbone and you've got that little depression, if you just press down in there, it can sometimes feel a little bit tender. That's actually your top rib, and under there is the top of your lung. So some people don't realise that their lungs are actually coming right up to here. They expand in, actually stick through a pressure to the rib cage, and they are wrapped then in the rib cage at the front, round the sides, and then your rib cage at the back. Okay, and as we breathe, there's a natural kind of elastic movement through the ribs, and everything in our body actually is in this motion, this rhythm. So you hear a lot in maybe Eastern philosophy about the energy and this flow of movement, because our body all the time is lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. So we're going to come down onto the mat, and some of those things I might cue, and we can discuss or allow you just to feel the breath for you this morning. So coming down onto the mat, I'm going to pop these cushions here under my knees. Best to come down through side lying and then roll onto your back. And here I'm just letting my legs feel comfortable and letting the back of my head rest comfortably. And just pop your hands across your ribs and a little bit across your tummy, and let the hands just soften. And now just let go here. And we're going to do a gentle body scan from the feet. Just notice the contact of the heels and the feet on the floor. Just notice the weight of the feet. Notice if one leg feels longer or shorter, if one feels heavier or one feels lighter. And scanning up through the legs, perhaps noticing their position, the position of the knees. Is there symmetry between the knees or a difference? Not changing it at all, just noticing what's here for you right now. With no expectation, no judgment. And then just become aware of the back of the pelvis on the floor and the weight of that pelvis. Just become aware of the sensation of your body against your hands. And I want you to become aware of your breath. And again, not trying to change it at all. Just notice where you're breathing. Notice if you feel the tummy is tending to lift and then settle, or whether it's more in the chest area. And just become aware of your spine. Not all of your spine will be in contact with the floor. Notice which parts of the spine are in contact. Perhaps it's alignment. And perhaps then noticing how the back of the rib cage feels against the floor underneath you. Does one side feel heavier than the other? And just notice if the shoulder blades are in contact with the floor. You're not trying to adjust them or judge it. Just notice where they're sitting, how the shoulders feel across the collarbones. And then just become aware of the back of the neck and notice which part of the skull is in contact with that cushion under your head. And then here we're just going to lift the nose slightly, tipping the head back. And then just gently nod down, keeping the back of the skull on the cushion. And this is completely soft and relaxed, so you're not lifting the head into tension through the back of the neck, and you're not dropping the chin until it feels tense. I want you just to work and feel for you the range that feels soft and relaxed. Keeping the back of the skull as heavy as you can on that cushion underneath you. No tension whatsoever. And then let the head and neck just rest in the middle somewhere. And then just let the nose rock from one side to the other. Again, you're not going into any extreme movement. You're just allowing the body to soften, rolling from side to side, and then find the middle position. Notice if that feels any different for you. And if there's been any changes in the body. How does the breath feel for you now? And then again, without changing it right now, I want you to become aware of the breath again. And just notice if you're breathing in through the nose, mouth, or both. And then as you out-breath or exhale, notice if that happens through the nose, mouth, or both. First thing we're going to look at is however you've been breathing, we're going to try and breathe in through the nose. Not a deep breath, just a nice, gentle, relaxed, soft breath in. And then as you breathe out, I want you to exhale through the mouth. As you exhale through the mouth, although we're not making the noise, I want you to just kind of make the sound in your mind, or you can do it in your own rooms, of ha. And as you do that, I want you just to let the back of the jaw sink back and a little bit down. So we just soften and open the teeth, ha, and let the chin sink back and the jaw soften. So in through the nose, and then a gentle and if you've been making the noise, now just come back to the sense of that ha. But as you make the ha, the chin sinks back and down, letting go of tension in the jaw. Jaw sinks back and down, letting go of tension. Breath in through the nose. Let the jaw or the chin sink back and down. And notice where the tongue is in the mouth for you. Possible, just letting it rest on the roof of the mouth, just behind the teeth. It finds a nice soft position as you breathe here. Breathe in with that tongue just softly on the just let the chin drop back and down. Nice. So now I'm going to cue the breath here. As you breathe in, I want you to imagine you're breathing into those sinuses. So breathe in, wide into the sinuses. You're not trying to force the exhale out, just let the body soften and the breath just leave the body at its own pace, feeling that elastic recoil of the lungs just depress and soften. So breathing in wide into the sinuses, and just notice if that changes your breath at all. I'd like you to move your hands up onto your collarbones, just on the outside corners of those collarbones. Try and let those arms be nice and heavy and soft. So you might also be on your shoulders slightly. And here, as you take that breath in, breathe wide into the sinuses. And just notice the collarbones elevate or lift up into your hands. Think of them widening and just rolling back slightly. And then just let the breath leave the body, letting the chin drop back and down. So you breathe in wide into the sinuses. Feel the collarbones lift and widen, roll back, and then let the breath out. Let the chin drop back. Lovely. One more breath here in that upper part of the lungs. Thinking of that top of the rib cage, that top rip I described. Breathe into the top of the lungs as you breathe wide into the sinuses, wide into the shoulders, letting the collarbones lift and roll back. And now let the hands just soften just below the nipple line, and then bring the hands out just again in a relaxed position but out wide, and feel the heels of your hands just resting on the sides of the rib cage there. And now we're going to combine breathing in wide into the sinuses Let the collarbones lift and roll back. And now just try and find some expansion into the sides of the rib cage, into the heels of your hands. And feel the expansion into the back of the rib cage and into the mat underneath you. And then just let the breath leave the body in its own way. Dropping the chin back and down and away from you. One more here, so breath in wide into the sinuses. Let those collarbones lift, widen and roll back. Wide into those hands and feel the back of the rib cage widen into the mat underneath you. And then let the out breath leave the body. And now soften those hands back into the lower ribs and onto the tummy. And now with this breath, breathe in wide into the sinuses through the nose. Feel the collarbones lift and widen. Wide into the rib cage. And now just feel that tummy lift. And breathe right into the base of the lungs. And then exhale. Just let the breath leave the body, letting that jaw drop back and down. And again here. Breathe in through the nose, wide into the sinuses. Feel the shoulder collarbones lift, widen, roll back, wide into the rib cage, into the back of the rib cage, and then into the depth of the lungs, feeling the tummy expand and widen. And then exhale, let the body leave the breath. Last one, breathing in your own time there, wide into the sinuses. Collarbones lift, widen, roll back, wide through the rib cage, into the tummy, and then let the breath exhale and leave the body. And then just let your body find its natural rhythm. Just notice how the breath feels for you. How does the body feel for you? Scanning up from the heels or the feet on the floor. Notice if the contact feels different. Notice how the legs feel. Notice how the pelvis feels. Notice perhaps the alignment and weight of the spine and contact of the spine on the floor underneath you. Notice how the rib cage feels. How the back of the head feels on the cushion or towel underneath you. And how the head and neck feel. Just opening your eyes, just wriggle your toes, perhaps roll the shoulders, bring your feet back in towards you, bringing that sensory awareness back into the body, and just roll onto your side, taking your time to come up. You may feel a little bit dizzy. Just take a moment to notice how you feel after that practice, and I really hope that sets you up well for the week.